Hey everyone, Victoria Haffer here. And I'm here to talk about a really important topic, deep topic, and that is death of our loved ones. And how do we broach this topic with our children? So earlier today, I had a friend message me and tell me that her beloved dog named Cat got hit by a bus, and she has 6 kids. And she said, she texted me, how do I do this? She's grieving, and all the kids weren't there. They were at different places, and she just kind of, what can I do? And so I got on a call and we chatted about it, and it really just it brought up a lot for me, and obviously it inspired this video today. So first off, I would say, don't wait until a beloved friend, family member, or animal crosses over to the other side before you talk about what death is with your children. And they tend to be way more intuitive than we are. We all started extremely intuitive, and then often what happens is over time, from our experiences, we tend to mask things and not believe in magical things anymore and all of that stuff. So they're learning about death basically from us and how we're reacting and responding to it. So in many other countries, especially in indigenous tribes, they actually celebrate death. And although it can be very sad that your person, your animal, is no longer here in physical form, their spirit, their soul always lives on. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. And, we are multi-dimensional beings that have chosen to incarnate and be born, at this time on Earth. And we came in this physical body. And so when it is our time to leave the planet and we take our last breath, that last breath is your soul literally leaving your body. And then the physical form that we have identified with as being, the person, the friend, the animal, is no longer that thing, because the energy of the entity is the soul. So the soul leaves the body. So having a conversation with your kids at a very young age about what death means. What does it mean? And the fact that we have a soul and it's in this physical form, and that we're all energy. We're pure energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So there's something called the Akashic Records, and that is if you want to imagine, a huge, unlimited online storage platform of all of the information that you hold in your soul from every lifetime that you have lived. And so you can access that. You might have heard of the Akashic Records. Like, you can do sessions with people and access. As a clinical hypnotherapist, I have done past life regressions with people. And if you want to learn more about that, Many Masters, Many Lives by Dr. Brian Weiss is a really great source for understanding about past life stuff. It's really fascinating. And I myself have had many downloads about past lives that I have lived. And so basically, as I started to learn about this whole process, which was really interesting for me. Why are some people drawn to the let's say the magical era where Camelot and horses and things like that, and or somebody might be really drawn to Egypt, or someone might be really drawn to, I know for me, about 10 years ago, I went to Hawaii, the Big Island, and I swam with the ocean, in the ocean, with the in the open ocean with whales and dolphins, and that was amazing. But when I first landed in and I came into the space of the Big Island, I had this very feeling as if I'd been there before. It just really felt like home to me, and almost to the point, I felt very emotional and very connected to the land, like I'd been there before. And then I had some downloads around past life stuff. So I knew that I had been there in the past. So anyways, just kind of be open to those kinds of things. I'm also very connected to like Ireland and England and all that space as well. And I know that I have lived many past lives in that part of the world as well. So it's pretty cool stuff. So if we start to take a look at, our perception of how we perceive death and what truly is happening, and teaching our children that, our dog, our cat, our bird, our goldfish has a little soul, and that we actually, per the Akashic records, we actually choose who our parents going to be. All the significant players in our lives, we choose our relationships, who our children are going to be, any challenges that you might have, whether it be chronic conditions, autoimmune, even things like cancer. So basically it's you're like, this is the challenge that, maybe I'll overcome, maybe I won't. There's always free will in regards. And then there's always the end time, which we tend to think often that time is eternal and that we're going to live forever. When indeed, before we incarnated, before our soul became something that of his existence, when our mom's egg met our dad's sperm, and then the soul popped, into the womb, into the body. We have chosen all of it. We've chosen all of our greatest challenges, all of those things. And also we chose when our contract will be done. Animals do the same. Now, animals have a very different belief system or perception of death. And, I could tell you many, many stories as an animal intuitive around things. And when your dog has an accident, I know it might sound a little strange, but they've actually chosen that is when their contract is up in this time period. So if we start to be open to the possibility of these things, and we know that, your dog was 4 years old and it got hit by a car, that your dog, that was the plan for the dog, that at 4 years old, that's when the dog's soul was going to leave the physical body. So once the soul leaves the physical body, there's a few things that can happen. It can cross over immediately. Often what I've found is that, especially in complicated situations with families where there's a lot of different people involved, kids and people involved, that often the soul will hang around for a while. so that the humans can have time with them to still be able to be in the space and the energy of their beloved pet. And so in this instance, where my friend messaged me and told me, you know, she has 6 kids and 2 of them were there and 4 of them were off, and some of them won't even be back for 4 days. So it's like, what are we going to do with this? And I said, well, you know, start to communicate with them about what death really means. And also, especially if there was an accident involved, like in this situation, the dog got hit by a bus. So for whatever reason, you know, why was the dog out? We don't know. You know, I don't know the logistics of it, but someone may be blaming themselves for something. So you want to make sure you address that and make sure that there's nobody in the family, especially a kid. You know, if the dog, like, they didn't close the gate, and then the dog wound up getting out and getting hit and injured or killed. You want to make sure you address that, because those are the kinds of things that micro traumas or major traumas that can sit in the body of the child for, you know, a lifetime. And it can show up as massive trauma when they get older. So you do want to say, like, this was the divine plan. Everything worked out the way it was supposed to work out, as I know, as painful as that might seem. And that, you know, now your beloved pet is evolving. The soul will be around, and then you can talk to them about what a spirit guide is, and that now your beloved pet can now become your guardian angel, in that respect, and that they can still call upon them for wisdom and for safety and for information, at any time. So again, and then I had suggested to the mom that they have a celebration, have a ceremony with the whole family, with and whatever it looks like. I don't, you know, depending on how old the kids are, but let them choose how they want to you know, give to the energy of the specific your animal that has crossed over. And because not everyone wants to draw, so you could say, you could draw it, you could dance it, you could do this thing, and then let everybody share their favorite memories of the animal and their favorite times, and then have you know, maybe you do some chanting or some singing, or someone says a prayer, and just basically say, now, you know, that, and then let your beloved pet know at that point, once you feel like the family has had closure, let your beloved pet know that it's okay to cross over. The animal will make the choice. There may be, maybe if one of the kids is having a really hard time with the loss of the pet, so the animal may choose to stay around for a little bit longer, but just stay in tune with that as well. And then check in, you know, even after the ceremony, you know, make sure you're checking in with the kids and the, you know, the adults as well. Sometimes the adults can take it harder than the children. And then the kids start to wonder, well, maybe I should be sadder than I am, because often the kids will kind of get the whole thing about the transmutation of energy, and how now their beloved gerbil or cat or dog can now reincarnate maybe into something else. And I have heard, you know, many stories and clients where they have actually had their beloved animals come back, and they just knew it was them. They knew because it was something. They had a connection and a communication with each other that said that, if, you know, if I see this sign or this omen, that I'll know it's you. Because you can actually ask your beloved animals, once they have passed, you can request that they come back in a different, obviously a different form, in another animal, or specifically you could say in another dog. And I know many of my clients that this has happened and occurred for them. So those are some possibilities. So again, I just highly recommend that you broach this subject. I understand it can be very delicate. However, the more that we don't hide things from your kids, they always know. So it's okay to grieve with them and to show them you being emotional. But don't beat yourself up. The important thing is that nobody's being blamed for anything. And if there is a learning from the situation, about closing gates or doing anything like that, that we know that, we're just going to be more mindful of it. But that the most important thing is that, per the Akashic records, that your beloved animal chose when it was going to leave its physical body. And so you really couldn't have done much about it. It would have happened in some other form either way. So I hope that this video was helpful for you. I would love to hear your comments below, and share your stories if any of this resonates, and that you've had experience with any of this. So sending you so much love and blessings. Victoria signing off.